Hey, it's Jim Peterson of the Minnesota Timberwolves coming at you from LA Live. And you're watching Wolves After Dark. Welcome.
I believe that the Minnesota Timberwolves are going to win the World Championship.
Edwards. Edwards! They are advancing to the Western Conference Finals for the first time in 20 years.
Oh, it's on, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, yeah, baby.
Welcome into Wolves After Dark. Timberwolves lose 128-126. A close game, pretty much. I mean, a 7-point game, really, the entire game. And then just a weird ending. Couldn't get many stops, but you were able to score a decent amount. If you're new here, like the stream. If you're not new here, still like the stream. We are going to be doing some giveaways, potentially. If we get to 50 likes, same as yesterday, if we get to 50 likes, we'll do a gift card giveaway for the Timberwolves Pro Shop or whatever it's called. And if we get to 100, we'll do a jersey giveaway. So same thing as last time. Let's get those likes up. And if you're watching the VOD, let me know who was your player of the game. I know it's kind of hard to pick a player of the game on a night like this, but Timberwolves go down 3-1. We'll have to do the improbable and come back against a team that loves playing with a lead, both in games and in a series. How are you feeling after this game, Ashwin?
That was the wrong question to ask, my friend. Whoa, what a way to lose. We have found yet another way to lose a game. Our team showed a lot of heart, man. That was one of the craziest, most volatile games I've seen. Game 2, we were down, uncomfortably by 10 plus for a large chunk of game. We actually pull it back to within single digits, and then they pull ahead. Game 1 was maybe the ugliest game you'll ever watch.
Yeah.
Game 3 was fantastic. More of those, please.
That was a pretty good game, yeah.
Game 4 had a really weird start. Game plan was to kind of allow J-Dub to just shoot.
Yeah.
And he was making
on fire. Yeah.
There was no adjustment to that game plan. And their game plan was to shut Ant out, hurry him, frustrate Julius Randle, and that showed. That first quarter actually was the entire game. Like, the rest of the game was was chalk. We traded buckets. No one team, I guess OKC pulled ahead to double digits, 1 point in the third quarter early. We were just trading buckets. There was no run from the Timberwolves.
No.
There's no 7-0 run. Usually it's a game of runs. We could not score effectively, and it was just heroics from our others. They kept us in this game from being a blowout.
Yeah.
I had a fun, fantastic time watching this game. It was very fucking stressful. But I was just waiting for the dial to turn, for Ant to turn on, for Julius Randle to stop getting in his head, and then that never happened. And what a way to lose in maybe classic fashion. The series is not over yet. I don't want to say might as well hand them, the Western Conference trophy. But my gosh, how are you feeling?
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely I'm struggling. It was really frustrating game to watch because this felt, I mean, our bench came to play, of course, but this felt like a game where, of course, Ant was not playing super well, Randall was not playing super well, and I felt like OKC was playing not perfect, but really, really good in so many ways. So many of their players. Honestly, I can't even off of memory think of a player that really didn't have a decent game for them. I mean, there's players that didn't score as much, but I felt like everybody was you'd have those moments where you have random Kenrich Williams come in and just hit a couple buckets, Isaiah Joe hits a couple buckets. Kayson Wallace just hits a couple just killer shots at moments, just tough shots too. And on top of that, their defense all over was playing great. And this was still a 2-point game. So that's what's really frustrating to me, is that it felt like really, I mean, here, I was going to share this because I wanted to show the game chart here. I mean, like, of course, OKC is pretty much winning the entire game, but it's just this constant, like, 7-point flow of like, okay, they're always up by about 5 to 7 points. We hit a couple shots and then it goes right back. Hit a couple shots, goes right back. And, you know, it was just ridiculously frustrating. And it was the same situation all game. There was really not any adjustments made to change that. Just kept happening. It really is bothersome. The other thing that I was going to point out, I do have some other tweets to share later. But, you know, this has happened to OKC in the past. OKC went up 3-1 in this series against the Warriors, and then the Warriors came storming back. So
That's right.
It's not over. But of course, you would much rather, you know, this is just a game that was winnable. It was winnable. And especially when you don't have Ant go off or Julius go off, it's just a struggle. I mean, I don't know. What do you feel about Ant taking 13 shots? I guess this is a question for you. Do you think that Ant taking 13 shots only is a product of him beating himself up for either not feeling confident, letting the defense get to him, or do you think that the defense was just so good by OKC that it was forcing him to make the right play and pass it out? What do you think more? Which situation is more accurate in this?
You know, I think it's like 80-20, self-inflicted.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And 20% ridiculous defense.
Because
Lou Dort fouls out, but Lou Dort was pressing up on him, dogging him, hitting his arms, went on and off the ball. Caruso, I mean, 30 minutes. He started the second half, and he's clowning Ant at times, you know?
Yeah.
Definitely made an embarrassment out of Randall. But we bought into that. Anytime we made a mistake, it compounds. Transition points for OKC. Now we're slowing down. Now we're thinking about our dribble. Now Cason Wallace is in our passing lanes and up in our grill, and Ant's really frustrated, and he's trying to get any space whatsoever. Yeah, at the beginning of the game, Rudy Gobert is trying to like set high screens.
Yeah.
And then we're getting cornered into the corner. We're like screwing ourselves. Mm-hmm. We pass to Gobert, and Gobert doesn't know what to do with the ball those moments, and we're just beating ourselves. 21 turnovers, self-inflicted. Hey, but that 20% is them popping off for 14 steals, them pushing the narrative that they're going to be more aggressive, and we just let them get into their spots on offense. Hey, for a large portion of this game, no one else was doing much of anything except for, you know, J-Dub and Shea for a large portion of the game. And then the fourth quarter happened, and Chet decides to just pop off. Where are we on the rebounding? My friend who doesn't watch basketball sits next to me and is asking, hey, so I'm noticing that you have a lot of tall dudes, and they're not getting the rebound. Why are they over there not getting the rebound? And I couldn't answer him. I had to make up a lie. Why is Chet seamlessly just getting an offensive putback?
Yeah.
Why are there like Caruso bad outs? And we're not in those zones to catch the ball, to get any 50-50 balls. Or like we're sandwiching Hartenstein at one point. The rebounding was excruciating.
It was.
Aren't we the bigger team? Aren't we the more disciplined team? I guess not. And their young stars, man, played their ass off. The way that we won game 3 and we just couldn't miss.
Yeah.
They really couldn't miss. At least Jalen, at least J-Dub. And in the fourth quarter, Chet was just on fire. Shea had a really weird game. It looks great on paper, but he was just all sorts of nonsense tonight. And in the fourth quarter, he delivered. There were some crazy shots that he made.
Yep. Yeah.
Oh, but I can't say the same about our stars, man. And so I'm just frustrated because in game 3, if they were just starting to make shots, they were in the game, you know? Comfortably, we were up by 20, 30, and we pulled it to 40. But in this game, our others made shots and kept us in striking distance.
Yeah.
Home run plays were not there to be had. Ant was forcing threes in the fourth quarter, those step backs or whatever. It really killed like any moment. There was like one like where it was like very far back. These possessions mattered so much, and I just felt like we couldn't get any rhythm going. We didn't have a secondary like strong ball handler, and it really unraveled at our own demise. So the long-winded, ridiculous answer for your question of Ant, it was because it was all self-inflicted, and we didn't just play stronger. And disappointing how we ended up losing this game, but there was a lot of fight, man, and you got to give a lot of props to our others. And so, despite Ant's narrative in this game, in this series, in this postseason, their others really stepped up for us, and it was awesome to see.
Yeah, and that I think that alone, and I don't mean to be like so sulking in sadness right now, but I think that's the thing that bothers me so much. You get such great production from your bench, even better than last game. Well, I guess I don't really know the numbers, but it feels so much better tonight because you had so many big shots from big shots from Donte. Even after I said, "Oh, here comes Donte," and then he gets like three
both
threes
of the same thing.
Yeah, and it's like this is huge. And then even Nas is hitting some good shots early. Jaden
Nas was doing some like miracle shots.
You had all these guys that were like not performing very well throughout the playoffs go off tonight and give you what you needed. All you needed was a closer, and you didn't have it. And I know Ant should be, I mean, he should be criticized here. There's nothing. I mean, he is the guy that wants all the smoke when this is happening. He is unfortunately 23 and being thrust into these situations, but he does deserve the criticism here, as well as Randall. I mean, Randall's got to be better too. Randall's been amazing these playoffs. You just had to have your two best players come to play. Really, just one of them probably, and you probably win this game. And also,
that makes it hurt even worse.
Exactly. And then the other thing is like I said this earlier, but it's just it felt like OKC didn't play perfect, but they played like A plus offense and defense all game, and it felt like we played like C plus B minus offense, and it was a 2-point game. Like really, it just feels like this was going to be the perfect game to steal, because if they played this well and still lost, it's going to ruin their mental going home, even if they're going home, because now we have so much momentum. I don't know. It felt like such an opportunity to win a game, and it's just disappointing. But and if I'm trying to make a positive out of this, which is just like totally pivoting, totally cope everything. I saw somebody say this in the chat earlier, which it's already gone somehow, but I wasn't expecting to get this far in the playoffs. So all of this is extra to me right now. Like, I know we made it this far last year, and of course we played decently in the first two rounds, enough to get on, like, past them, I guess. But I just wasn't expecting to be this far. So it is nice to be in like Western Conference Finals, even with a team that I mean, has had its moments, but wasn't necessarily what I thought we would want. Like, this isn't our load up year to be like, okay, we're finals or bust this year, but that's just cope. So, yeah, I don't know how I feel about game 5 now. Because now you're in OKC, which they are so good in OKC. We've stolen games in OKC before. But it just seems so difficult because they are so confident with leads both in the series and in the game. It feels impossible. It's not, but it's just, man, you had such a good chance tonight. Just drives me crazy.
There was a stat they showed somewhere in the fourth quarter, and it was dead even. Points in the paint, rebounds, offensive rebounds, points off of turnovers. They're like basically about the same. We just had a few more turnovers that mattered more. Anytime we had a bucket go in, the next possession, turnover. When they had a bucket go in, the next play, offensive foul on our end, and they had a bucket going. So when we got it down to 2, they had a putback by Caruso, and then they had a 3 by Chet, and that didn't seal the game, but it felt like it was over then because it was so hard for us to manufacture offense. Meanwhile, they're getting putbacks. What?
Yeah.
Our offensive rebounds led into really crazy, difficult shots. You know, props to OKC. It is hard for me to say out loud because they are the enemy, and I kind of hate a lot of it. But
I know.
but just they are a swarming defense. They are allowed to play in a different way, and great. It was as a bystander, as a casual, probably an amazing game to watch.
I think
so. It was so frustrating for us.
I've seen a couple people tweet out that this was an amazing game, and I'm like, I don't know. I mean, my blood pressure was too high for me to enjoy
so
this
stressful.
game. Even if we won this game, I wasn't going to say like, "Oh, I had fun." This was so stressful. But
like I was eating my spinach and artichoke dip with my hands.
I didn't even know you had that. I ate my food. I stress ate my food so fast that in the first quarter, I was hungry for the rest of the game.
Yeah.
Oh man.
My friend Hondo was pacing. He was like, he had to get some air.
I saw him getting up at a point.
Anytime we screamed and hollered for a stop, it didn't happen. The game was crazy, sloppy at times. They know how to win. They have our number.
And here's the other thing. I know that this, like, please, no OKC fans clip this because I promise I'm not trying to like rain on your parade or whatever. But they've kind of got this like weird illegal team situation because they're not going to be able to retain all these players. Like they're in this unique situation where they have so many high, like realistically, they need to win the title this year because if they don't, half of these guys are going to have to go. Now, they've got some interesting players that they have that are lower level for them that could really step up and be really good for them. So like they have such a perfect pipeline for this. Like they're going to have to lose either Dort or Jalen Williams or somebody like that, or both of them. So it's going to be interesting to see, unless they take ridiculous contracts, which they should not, of course. But realistically, like this team is not the team that you're going to see year after year after year. It could be Shea and J-Dub, but it's not going to be, or Shea and Chet, but it's not going to be all four, and then have all these great defenders too. I mean, these guys are playing too well. They're going to get paid other places. And even if they don't get paid other places, they can't get paid by the Thunder because the Thunder are going to be such a crazy money situation. So, but no, I mean, the Thunder are seriously a fantastic team. If the Timberwolves were to come back from 3-1, that would be, I mean, that would almost be more impressive than winning against any team in the finals because that would be, they are that good. Their defense is that good. Another tidbit here, Dort didn't score much, but boy, oh boy, was it huge. You could tell that he was the main problem here because when he went out in the fourth with 4 fouls, we did go on one of our only runs of the game where we went on like a 7-0 or 8-0 run or something like that. And then they called a timeout and then they brought him back in with 4 fouls because they're like, we have to have him in here.
Yeah.
So he's a big part of that. And he's obviously he's a lot bigger than Ant, so he's able to bother him. And he's about the same speed apparently. So I mean, shout out to them. I was going to do some quick math here. So the what is it? The OKC starters had 95, or not starters. It was SGA, Chet, and J-Dub had a combined 95 points out of their 128. So the rest of the team scored 30. So it's like having 3 players like that. I mean, this is like the ideal, like big 3, if you can have it like this. And it worked perfectly for them tonight. And again, we almost won. You know, that if there's something to give you hope, it's that they really had such a perfect game. And we seriously were so close. But
that's true.
Anyways, you want to get into the tier list?
Yeah.
Okay. Oops, I didn't reset it.
We missed a few free throws. You know, Gobert, you know, hats off to him for getting some rebounds, 7 of them offensively, by the way. But just defensive rebounding was the tale of the story for me. We couldn't box out. We couldn't get key stops. And a stop also means a missed shot, closing out possessions.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, maybe, you know, the ball was zipping around and we had a lot of other people score for us. That 7-0 run, or that whatever run we had, was mostly DiVincenzo hitting 2 threes.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep.
It never felt like it just never felt like we could get a stop when we needed it to score on the other end. Every time it was just
the whole game.
It was just so much effort to get a shot up. Ant never was open. You know, the one time he had an open lane for a layup, he missed it. I think we still scored on that position, but he missed it.
Yeah.
The one time he had a wide open three, he missed it. And that's okay. But he had such limited opportunities for these shots.
Yeah.
And yeah, you know, there's a great question you asked about Ant and just like, what is his mindset? You know, game 3, aggressive. He just took over early. He didn't even let the defensive set. In this game, it felt like he was really biding his time. That offensive set to start the game was at the half court line, at the equator, and we were just in corners, losing time to get a possession going. You know, that was maybe OKC's game plan. But why are we setting such ridiculously high screens? Why are we bringing the other defender at half court? This is going to be a different type of tier list. It's going to potentially look positive, but man, their key 3 players came to play. Our big 2 had problems.
Yeah.
Terrence Shannon Jr., 7.5 minutes, 9 points, a strained shoulder, comes back. Finch, thank you for putting him back in. There was a moment where we could have actually had Jalen Clark out there, but we had more Terrence Shannon, even for like a random foul on Shea at the end of the game that was random as hell. Terrence Shannon Jr., fucking love you. Cash.
Yeah, I mean, again, energy immediately. I don't agree with whatever Finch's mindset was, putting him in the moments where we needed to stop the inbound pass. That is really confusing to me. I mean, maybe there's just something we haven't seen in practices where they're like, wait, Terrence Shannon is just a goat at inbound defense or something. But Crone actually, while we were at the bar together, said something very or I don't know what the right word is, but it was like maybe the point is so that if they can get a steal, he's just gonna sprint right to the basket.
Absolutely.
That's a great point. But I just defensively, I'm like, it feels like why not have somebody like Jalen Clark who's known for poking loose balls and getting steals? I don't know. It's crazy to me. But I guess
he gets to the line 4 times. He hits his free throws. Another key to this game was, you know, Rudy missed a couple free throws. Ant missed a couple free throws. And he's just energy, man. And at a point where we were gassed, it's incredible to have him just as another. I think there's moments where we could actually play in like not obvious times, like the beginning of the second. I think he could play in the first. I think we could spell minutes for Ant. If he's literally not going to score, we can pull him for 3 minutes in the first quarter and put in TJ. Anyways, incredible game from him. Can't wait to see more from him. He's part of our rotation now. It seems obvious.
Yeah, I'm so excited. I know I'm not trying to say that the season's over, but like regardless of if we come back from 3-1 or not, I'm just so excited to see him in this series for the rest of it and for next season, because we're probably going to have at least 1 or 2 roster spots open after this season for him to move up and for him to be like a major part. I think it's going to unlock a totally different offense for us in a good way. So I'm just so excited to see more of him.
Naz Reid, he stepped up in game 3. 24 minutes, 3 for 4, 11 points, 6 rebounds, couple fouls. I want to give him a great grade because he hit all his free throws and everything. But I just think that, man, OKC in game 4 specifically was hunting the matchups because they found that Jalen was popping off. Shea was more or less popping off in the ways that they could. And they weren't passing the ball always. And they were finding the matchup, which was Shea on Gobert. It didn't work out remarkable for them, but it was Jalen or J-Dub on Naz or J-Dub on DiVincenzo, you know?
Yeah.
Naz's defense could use a little bit more like will to win, willpower, I think he's so frustrated when he gets a call against him that he just gets really tentative. I don't know what my grade is for him. How did you see Naz Reid in this game?
Yeah, it's weird because like his stat line looks like he kind of was playing protective of like his stats in a way because he was only 3 of 4. He had 11 points. He had 6 rebounds. I actually did like some of his rebounds. I did like, but because he had one where he yanked it over Shea, and I really liked that. That was the one where I think I don't remember what happened, but either way, I liked a lot of his rebounds. But I just don't feel comfortable with him as much creating in this series because he's just getting good defenders on him that can bother him, or at least defenders that are going to press up enough to make him uncomfortable with ball handling. So it's just feels like it's not his series. And honestly, his first 3 was just kind of like they had played such good defense, the Thunder had, that it was just like a chuck it and hope it goes in type of situation. It went in. But it wasn't necessarily like a manufactured great look. It was just a hot potato or whatever situation. So, yeah, I mean, I feel like I don't know where to put him for tonight because he was okay. I'd probably put him in like meh or nice. I'm not going higher than nice, but I don't think I'm going lower than meh.
I think it was pretty meh. Remarkable point by you about, his superpower is actually that he's a big who can ball handle and pass when needed, but he's very aggressive in finding his own shot. Boy, did he have such a hard time doing any of those things. He could only pop off from 3, and he didn't do that in this game, Yeah. His only skill set in this game was to be tall and big and box out to get rebounds, and he got some of the easy ones, in my opinion.
Yeah, maybe.
So I think it's a meh. Or whatever that is for a grade.
We care about you, bud. By the way, shout out DJ Mad Mardigan in the chat. Thanks for joining. We got to get you on the show sometime, but it's always just so tricky to do this. But someday we'll figure out how to do that.
Tonight, for some reason, I see you. I love you, but I'm not like actively reading chat or like showing chat in the stream. It has been a very hard watch. And I'm just trying to like get through this friggin' show.
Yeah.
Donte DiVincenzo, my man. That first stint was pretty ugly. Mm-hmm. But then in the second half, holy hell. Holy Hannah. Donte DiVincenzo, 28 minutes, 21 points, 5 assists, steal, 5 for 8 from 3, by the way. Money. He was money tonight.
Yeah.
He was at times a defensive, he had defensive lapses. Of course, they were hunting him, and there were a couple questionable ideas that he was basically improving on both ends of the floor. But we can't fault him because for 5 for 8 from 3, he did his job. And moments where we needed any bucket, he was there. That 7-0 run was basically just him. I'm okay with whatever grade you give him, but I think it's a cash.
I agree with you and Capo and Canis Rock in chat. He was finally cash. I think it was just my making fun of him that made him play well, because after that moment he went crazy.
I mean, the first quarter was awful when he was brought in.
It was so bad.
It was bad.
Everybody in the bar was like, take Donte out.
Yeah.
We were all screaming it. All 5 of us and other people were like, oh my gosh, get him out of here. And it was warranted. It was so bad. It was just so bad. But
guys, Spencer Hawes. Shout out Spencer Hawes.
Yes.
Was in attendance at the bar.
It was.
He was in our Seattle bar. That was pretty hilarious to see. And recognize him. And it took me a while to recognize him.
But
Spencer Hawes.
Yeah, I didn't recognize him until you said the name, but yeah, man. Well, no. Anyways, DDV, Donte, or as somebody in the comments the other day said, DVD.
That was so funny, man.
That was funny. Is cash. We needed this all playoffs. If we had this all playoffs, holy cow.
Holy hell. We're up 3-1.
We are up 3-1. So hopefully he's found it. If we're trying to stay with like a positivity theme here, if Donte has found it and he can play, I mean, maybe I don't expect 21 points from him every night, but like if he can hit some of those threes that he's getting wide open, give Ant a little bit more space, give Julius a little bit more space, just give everybody a little bit more space. That could change the series. That really could change the series. Even just him alone hitting that. And we're gonna get to Nah here in a second, but yeah, this was just crucial. But man, his defense, I do not want to see him one-on-one defending anybody's stars because they are hunting him, and it is atrocious. It is atrocious. But if you can hit 5 threes, I can deal with a little bit of bad defense. So
what's the alternative though, man? Like they were hunting Conley, and Conley was frustrated. There was like a Chet on Conley moment, and we were scrambling to recover. They're finding these. They're almost like making us second guess our defensive scheme at times, where it's like we have a plan and they make a switch, and we have a plan to kind of offset that, and then we're playing in the gaps. And then their secondary action is all of a sudden getting us into a Chet on Conley or a J-Dub on DiVincenzo. And that's not what we want. And wow. I don't want to give compliments, but it's like, how do we recover from that? Man, well, at least he's hitting shots to offset those problems.
And to what you said earlier, he was one of the guys, even though in the first half especially, it was very ineffective both offensively and defensively. He was one of those guys that was fighting and clawing and scratching at the end of the game to make it a game. He was doing something. And I agree that his defense was so bad, but I just think that like Donte gave us a chance to win that game at the end of by hitting all those threes. But yeah, TJ was better.
I'm reading some comments now, and it's making me think again about my grade. You guys are right. Absolute recency bias. Guys, he's had a pretty miserable postseason.
But again,
find his shot, find his shot. At least there's that. And I think in a game where we are really manufacturing offense we're taking 20 seconds off of every possession to find a shot. At least he got it going, 21 points. It's crazy. Donte DiVincenzo, 21 points.
Yeah, exactly. And I didn't specify at the beginning because we were trying to get through it quickly. But again, all of these grades are based off of what our expectations were coming into tonight. And they were pretty low for Donte. So it's unfair because some players we have really high expectations for. You'll see in a minute with like Ant and Julius. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, you could make an argument, a strong argument for we missed you, bud, because
we missed him.
We have missed this, and this hasn't been here. So,
holy crap. Nickeil Alexander-Walker, 23 points, 5 for 8 from 3, 6 assists, 2 steals. A flawless game from Nickeil Alexander-Walker with like ridiculously circus shots that went in, plays that I would never see even a superstar make. He makes.
Did you know he's SGA's cousin?
I have to check. It was hard to hear the broadcast. There was one moment where they showed 2 pictures of 2 guys that look related that have Alexander in their name, but I just couldn't figure it out.
It was interesting.
It was very interesting. I thought he played his matchup well. I think there was a moment where Shea had his elbow in his grill, didn't get the foul call, and it really frustrated Nah, and he's bitching at the refs. And, those moments where you let frustration let in, and it kind of affects the whole team. Nah was resilient tonight. Drew a couple charges, did his assignment flawlessly, led our team in assists, and in scoring, and pop off for 3. This was, if it wasn't a loss, this would be an A1.
Oh yeah.
Oh, Joker Nation said it exactly.
Oh yeah. Not an A1 if we would have won. Yeah, I mean, I totally agree. Just making clutch shots. This is the Nah that I was expecting last series. And to a degree this series. But just I can't get over how frustrating it is to have him have such an amazing game and then lose. I'm so upset about that right now. but it's Cash. It's obviously Cash. I think it's above TJ just because he played so many minutes, but and he did everything for us. I don't know. He was just incredible.
Yeah. Which puts us to the starters, of which you mentioned 95 points for their big three. Lugens, Dort fouls out. Isaiah Hartenstein, I thought, had a huge impact in this game, but only an early bucket for him, and it was like a dunk or something.
Mm-hmm.
I thought he had a huge role in this game. Second half, they entered Alex Caruso, and we just struggle to manufacture offense when their best defenders included. You know, they had two all NBA defenders, and also Caruso, and also Holmgren.
Yeah.
They are frustrating as hell to play against. But our starters, Mike Conley, 19 minutes, 6 points, 3 assists, a turnover, a costly turnover. He had a killer block shot. That was an awesome possession.
That was crazy, yeah.
But just not enough from him. And in our like, this is potentially the second to last game that we'll have this season, potentially the second to last game of his career.
Yeah.
I don't want to think negatively, but he just didn't bring it to the point where he's out on the sidelines, like coaching up everyone. It's great to see, but he was just targeted on defense, and we just had it going with Donte DiVincenzo. So as a result, he's not out there. I don't know, man. We had a lot of turnovers, and it would have been really nice to have him. What are your thoughts?
I think this has been glaring the entire season. Again, not to cope out of the loss, but like the most glaring problem for the Timberwolves all season, and even last season to a degree, was we don't have a confident and effective ball handler, point guard. We've needed one. We drafted Dillingham. He's still coming along. But we need that. And if Mike is either going to retire or have to play way less minutes, either Dillingham needs to not be 19 anymore and needs to suddenly fast forward to being like 25 years old, or we need somebody else in there that can do some amount of orchestrating. And I know Julius has done well for us at times, but tonight was the perfect example of where it's like, okay, well, you can't just have Julius be the backup point guard or ball handler, distributor, because he was getting so pressured and so flustered by the pressure that it's like, okay, well, he can't be it. So then Mike has to be it. And if Mike's going to only be 2 of 8, he can't be your point guard. So it's just, Tim Connolly knows this, and he has to just be trying to figure out what he could possibly do. Ant's coming along as a ball handler, but he still is a turnover machine. And, it's going to take time for that to happen. So if you're trying to make a real run at something, coming into this series especially, it's like, okay, what is OKC best at doing? Creating turnovers. Okay, what are we the worst at doing? Turning the ball over. It's just a mess. So if Mike can't play perfect, shout out. He had a couple of those threes early that felt really good, and like, okay, maybe this is a Mike Conley game. And then he had that crazy great defensive play on J-Dub, which I was like so hyped for. I was like, oh my gosh, this is like a turning point. But that was it. That was it from him. And there was no other minutes to be found because he wasn't really earning them. 2 of 8 isn't going to do it. So they lost by 2 and had 21 turnovers, exactly 420.
It's related. It's very related, you know?
Just so, anyways, I think he's old. Above Juancho, below meh.
I love our narratives, our stories, and our diatribes about a player who will just always perennially be old. We care about you. Yeah, we care about you. OKC's defense is also heightened and highlighted and emboldened by the fact that we have secondary ball handlers. The fact that at one point we had Jaden bringing the ball up because we just are frustratingly turning the ball over with Julius getting hounded by 2 or 3, and he doesn't know how to pass it out. We had DiVincenzo jump pass out of a pass that turns into a turnover. Anthony Edwards dribbles into people swiping down and loses the ball and is frustrated, doesn't know how to get back, and it's just a costly possession. They're basically long missed shots that we just don't know what to do with our hands. okay. And then like Rudy Gobert, the ball goes into his hands and he's like gingerly trying to put it up instead of yamming it, except for we'll get back to him in a second.
Yeah.
Like their defense gets rewarded. It doesn't happen with Conley because he does like this is where he makes his bread, Ben. But
yeah,
we are asking a lot out of our shooting guard, out of the other players that are not normally in this role. But they have to be because they need to be, and they just know what's up, man. We can't compensate, yet we only lose by 2. If we just focus a little bit more on just certain dynamics, and have discipline on certain, matchups, we win this fucking game.
Yep.
Jaden McDaniels, 31 minutes, 22 points, 4 rebounds, 4 steals, a block shot. I love this man. It pops off for 10 points early in the first quarter. You saw it coming because they were just hounding Julius, hounding Ant.
Yep.
Jaden was the recipient. He pops off for 10 early and ends with 22. It was incredible to watch. I kind of wish we had more Jaden. I wish we were feeding him more. He was open in multiple possessions.
Yeah.
But in moments where like Ant and Randall really want to get going and get moving, like Julius is just showing up for a random 3 at some points. Like Jaden was right there cutting for an open basket. It's hard for us to see these things at sometimes because we're so focused on the other things that OKC is giving us or not giving us. Jaden was here to play, man. Cash.
Easy cash, 4 steals and a block too. It's just like, I mean, it's a crazy output for a player like Jaden. So yeah, easy cash. The more we do this tier list, the more mad I'm getting about this game because it's like, look at how many good performances we had. Look at all these amazing performances.
Look at the stats, man. We're like up, if not ahead. We have more fast break points than them.
Yeah. It's just, and we're terrible at fast breaks.
Yeah.
ESPN is going to look back at this. This is going to be one of those graphics that you see, and they're going to be like, Wolves After Dark put 4 players in cash, and they didn't win the game. This hasn't happened since 20 years ago. But no, this is just so disappointing. Anyways. Rudy,
what's crazy is I think if we had a lead at any point in this game, we wouldn't have relinquished it. I think we would have played so much more confidently.
I agree. Totally. I think that we could have even won by a lot because all you have to do with this OKC team is get a lead. And if you cannot get the lead, they're going to shoot confidently. They're going to play super aggressive defense. And if they're able to get away with it, which they are tonight, which is fair. I didn't really have too big of a problem with any foul calls tonight. I mean, Shea flopped a couple times. I've got a couple clips saved for after this, but like generally it was fine. I thought, pretty even, and it missed calls both sides that evened out, I think, in the end. But yeah, I don't know, just dumb. Yes, and Crone, exactly. The arena there were so many moments where it was like we hit 2 buckets in a row, and we were ready to just take that lead. And if we would have, I think it would have just stayed like that, but couldn't do it.
What if, could have? What if? If wishes were fishes.
Yep. It's just like last year. The first 2 games against Dallas, the point differential combined in those games was like 4 points. And it's like if we just make one play different in each one of those games, like if Rudy just gets up on Luka for that 1-3 instead of letting him take a step back 3, forces him into the paint. Who knows? And like I think it was either maybe the same game or a different game where Ant makes the stupid, terrible pass at the end. It's like, oh, well, if we don't do that, we're up 2-0. Or the Jaden foul where that they changed the rule for this year. Like all these what ifs, I'm sick of it, and it needs to stop. We need to just take advantage and win games. This was that game to win. So now you have so much work to do. Not impossible, but holy cow, you've got so much to do.
It's not impossible. I'm gonna have you. I feel kind of guilty sometimes. I like go on these little rants or endless sentences that are just running on with fumes because I have so much to say, but almost just like so much love to give to this team. Let's like just wake up, man. Rudy Gobert, 32 minutes, 13 points, 9 rebounds, 7 of them offensively. Couple turnovers, couple fouls here and there. Even had that sick point Rue to was it DiVincenzo or was it Na in the corner?
Yep.
He missed a couple of free throws. What are your thoughts, man?
This is a weird game, and this is a little bit more scheme related than like performance related. But it's like when they bring out the different lineup, when OKC brings out a different lineup to start the second half, we keep Rudy out there, even though they have all these 3-point shooters out there, because our defense is so much reliant on Rudy being by the basket, deterring all layups. But that means that our other 4 have to fan out, and if Rudy's going to have to fan out, then it doesn't work. So then, but then if you take Rudy out of the game, then they can get to the paint so easily because we have nobody else that can really like protect the rim. Because again, this team is just so perfect. OKC, because every player, they can bring in 5 players that are all like essentially, in my mind, like 80% free throw 3-point shooters. I know it's not, but just it feels like they can bring in that caliber of shooting, and then they can also all drive and get layups. And if they can do that, that's going to beat us every time. But Rudy himself, I mean, it was I'd say his performance gave me as much confidence as the Wolves did the entire game. I was extremely nervous the entire time because he had multiple times where, I mean, he's dribbling too much at times. He had 2 turnovers, one-handed rebounds. I get that a lot of times he's either getting fouled or trying to draw a foul, but just all up and down. I think he's effective at times. There was one time in that run that I'm talking about in the third quarter where J-Dub it was like a late shot clock, and he had to just bolt right into the paint, and he couldn't, never mind. So then he just puts up a really gross shot against Gobert because Gobert's there. But like that kind of locks Finch or the team into just keeping that lineup. So I don't know. I mean, I felt like this was like a very middle game for Rudy. I'd say probably meh. I guess you could maybe go old, but nothing really sticks out to me about this game. I don't think Rudy made like, one play. One play was crazy, and it got the entire bar up and crazy. Was the play where he had Hartenstein on him, and he just yams it in out of nowhere. That was crazy. That was like, man, that also made me think we were going to go on a run after that because that was such a surprise. But no, I think I still settle somewhere around a meh for Rudy tonight.
I hated this game from Rudy Gobert to the nth degree. I was so okay. We were talking about his stat line. 13 and 9 is great. 7 of them, those offensive rebounds, amazing. 2 defensive rebounds, 2 from our $49 million player. I think we rescheduled his or whatever and renegotiated his contract, 43 or something. I don't know what it is. Oh my God, I was losing my mind at how much more effective Chet was.
Yeah.
How much more effective like Caruso was, just like pushing people around. The rebounds were for everyone else. And there was space. There was like plays where the ball bounced in front of them and he didn't reach to grab the rebound. Your job, the money-making shiner that you have.
Yeah.
Your superpower is to stop possessions. I don't care if it's like them not taking a shot that doesn't get recorded. It's you closing out possessions so then we can set our offense. Those high screens were ass.
Yeah.
It happens so often. I don't think that was a gameplay decision. Barely cross half court, set a screen early. No, it's not. It doesn't do anything. It's pointless movement. I think also frustrating is that dunk could have been 10 dunks. If he doesn't like just have this like idea that he needs to gingerly push it in and like shove it with one hand, he could have 10 dunks a game. We have such a hard time finding him in offense. When we do, it's a turnover because we push it. We do a bounce pass to him in transit, and then he doesn't know where to the hoop is. So he takes this like dribble in, and it ends up in a very low percentage chance of a basket. Mm-hmm. I hate him in transition. I hate him like when we are like running offense through him. It's really frustrating. You know what? Tip my hat off to him, like finding the open shooter. Tip my hat when he's pushing for offensive rebounds is great. But I really despise this game from him when I thought the only thing that could have been worse than all of our turnovers was letting them get the ball again. What?
Yeah.
Why did it take a halftime and a timeout chewing for you to dunk the ball?
Yeah, for real.
Dude. There's more negativity to be said, and it might come out in other players from me. But I just think that this game could have been won in the margins, that we lost by 2. And if we had won, I would have had the same comments. It's not a meh for me. It's a Wancho. It's something else. He had 7 offensive rebounds. I might be off my rocker here.
I think you made some valid points. I think it was infuriating to watch OKC, and regardless of size of player, just be able to bat it back out. Rudy's specialty, by the way, and effectively do that and get it to their players to get second chance points, or at least second chance opportunities. I agree with you. I think it's Wancho, and he's there. We need more. And somebody said in the chat, it's already gone. Sorry, I missed it. But like, I'd like a cheaper option. In games like this, it does make me be like, man, we could just have a different 7-footer that maybe just is like $5 million.
We did the overpay for a reason. We got whomped by Memphis, and the reasons were we were undisciplined and we had no defensive awareness in the post.
And no
made the trade. We look so much better. We faced Denver. Whoa. Look at that. Look at what we did to Denver.
Yep.
There's a reason why this is working. Actually, the first season I think we lose in 5 to Denver, and then we play Denver again. Oh man.
Don't tease me with a good time, Love Fadina. Oh my gosh. This would be I love this. I don't know how we do this, but maybe. Oh, wait a second. No, they already have AD. Never mind.
I also hate it that we need him so badly. This is going to be the dumbest comment I will probably ever say on any broadcast of anything. I think we needed a 6th player out there tonight. You know what I mean? Like, when Rudy goes out, it feels like we are a player short on defense. When Rudy's out there, they're sagging off of him. They don't really care about him on offense because we're not getting him the ball. So it feels like they're 6 on 5.
Yep. Yes.
It just has that cadence where we're struggling to find a play that works, and when it does, they were quickly to adapt. And when the others make their shots, holy hell, just show up. Anthony Edwards, nope. Julius Randle, 28 minutes, 5 points, 7 rebounds, 5 turnovers.
Jeez, you can't have as many turnovers.
Cameron, 1 field goal.
Oh my gosh.
1 made shot. What are your thoughts?
I mean, this is just there's something we've seen this in some regular season games too, where Julius sometimes he's totally comfortable with the contact, sometimes he's totally comfortable with, even some like pressured defense. But there's other nights like tonight where immediately he's getting pressure and it seems like he's never handled this before. And it's just super uncomfortable. And it was that way from the very beginning. Obviously credit to OKC's defense. This isn't just Julius being bad. I think OKC was playing really good defense against him, doubling him, pressuring him, going for steals, making him uncomfortable. But at the end of the day, with the amount of money and the role that you have on this team, you cannot have more turnovers than you have points. That just cannot happen. So even if you give all the credit to the OKC defense, you are paid like a superstar. You need to play like a superstar. And we'll get to Ant here in a second. But it's you have to be able to do something, whether that's passing out. I mean, that's what should happen. This is the same thing that we would complain about with Cat. This was honestly very Cat-like game in some ways, where he's struggling with the double teams. He's struggling with any amount of pressure when he's trying to post up. And instead of passing out to the wide open person or getting a good pass off, which he should be able to do, he can't. just bad plays, bad turnovers, weird miscommunication with Nah. That one play where Nah gets a turnover traveling out of the timeout too, which is just he's like not able. The defense is able to deny the post entry so easy at times tonight, which is not usually not a thing with Julius. Yeah, I don't know. It's super frustrating. You just got to be better in some way. I guess you could say he had 7 rebounds, but I don't know. Just no. Shout out for winning that one jump ball that against Chet and then turning it over immediately. So
wow. I actually have nothing positive to say. I'm pretty frustrated. He's the veteran. Our vets didn't show up tonight. He's the one who could be a secondary playmaker when we are getting bodied on the offensive end where Ant can't get going. Shouldn't it make sense that Randall can get going at that point? They swarm Randall. He doesn't pass it out in time. He is struggling with his handle instead of like picking it up and passing it quick. You know, I love this jump passes sometimes. Tonight, it was embarrassing. This comment from Stefan, like, shout out to you, man. I'm sorry I didn't highlight more of your comments. They've been awesome. Like, awesome in the fact that they're right, not like they're not positive. Julius can't dribble from the dang 3-point line. Start from the post. Oh my God. We can't even post entry. If it's not Conley like bringing the ball up and setting up a play, we have a hard time passing into the post. So like Randall trying to get position isn't working. Yeah, he has Caruso, he has Dort, he has Holmgren, he has all these players. You would think he would body these players, but he's having a hard time getting to the position. We waste so much time like getting the ball up half court, waste so much time just swinging the ball on the perimeter that when he is in position, it's just not there. And also, because he's so like ineffective early, he's trying to get involved. So he's getting outside of the perimeter because we're trying to force it to him to get some look, get some action. Then he's forcing the 3. 0 for 3 from 3 is not like bad. It's not great, but also all of those shots were forced. Ugly game. Juan show.
Yep, I agree. It was Juan show.
This tier looks crazy.
This is the weirdest one.
Our team gave us the tools to win this game. Our team consists of all the regular like role players that we love so much and we cherish and we root for, but some of them kind of come and go. Our stars are supposed to close this game, hit a home run, strike out the opposing player. I don't know what I'm saying. I'm using these fucking analogies of sports I don't follow.
Baseball.
I don't know what Edwards did all game.
Yeah.
41 minutes, 16 points, 6 assists, 4 rebounds, got to the line a few times. That's great. 5 turnovers, 13 shot attempts. Make it make sense. Cameron. Yeah, I don't care if he's 23. I don't care if he's, just finding the painful growing pains of a playoff series.
Yeah.
Fuck that. You're next. Jam it, man. Dunk it on some folks. Don't do a layup. Thrunk it on someone. Be aggressive, because that one time when he did have that play go in, he got really excited and he got his juices going. Why aren't you like that all game?
Yeah, I know. Yep. He came out of that third quarter and I was like, the beginning of the third quarter, aggressive. And I was like, okay, we're going to win this game. Because if Ant, again, in the first quarter or first half, it was still like a 7-8 point game or something like that. And Ant had shot twice in the game. So it was like, okay, if we can get Ant going and then have our bench continue to keep going, that feels really good. Yeah, I mean, I'm going to say something that I think we're all thinking. Maybe we're all thinking. I don't know. But I've definitely been thinking in the back of my head, not trying to say it out loud because I don't want this to be true. But Anthony Edwards looks tired. And that is concerning. He has taken all season taking a butt ton of threes, letting himself play an easier style of game so that he doesn't have to play as aggressive. His defense hasn't been as good this year. It still is in moments very good, but he has not been the same defensive player that we've had in the past years as well. He looks tired. He looks gassed early in games. And I just think that regardless of age, because I still do think that there's some elements that I do give him maybe too much credit for being 23, but this is the one where if you're going to use the 23 example of like, oh, he's inexperienced or whatever, he shouldn't be tired. So it's either you can give him a pass on some things because he's 23, but you cannot give him a pass for being tired at 23. So that's a conditioning issue. If that actually is true, it's either that his conditioning is so bad or his body language is abysmal, which it could be both. It could be both. But I'm worried about his conditioning because he clearly, I mean, he's like the way he was talking about Jaden that one time and he was being so authentic, it was like, you're kind of concerning me with how much you're like looking up to Jaden's ability to like be able to perform for 48 minutes. So I don't know, that's bothering me. It definitely seems like he has the burst in him. I mean, that start to the third quarter was really nice, and I thought that was really going to change the course of the game for us. But he just like he lets himself get so bothered by the defense and the scheming out. I think he plays it off as he's just trying to be a good teammate, which I do think he is being a good teammate. He's obviously like in that one like mic'd up section with Jaden the last game where he's like, you first, you get your look first, but if you don't like that, then pass it. He's like encouraging everybody to take shots. He's doing all those right things, but I think he's using some of his inefficiency as an excuse for just for the greater good. Which tonight, if he would have just played aggressive the entire game, we win because we lost by 2 points. You can't tell me an aggressive Anthony Edwards doesn't get a foul call at the rim or a layup or just anything or just a 3. I don't know. So it's just super frustrating to have this happen. Now 2 conference finals in a row. This is a trend, and this is not something that is just a one-off or a weird fluke situation. Or like last year, you could say, okay, well, they did get pushed to 7 in Denver, and that was very tricky. That was a very tough series, and in ways I believe that because it was mentally challenging and physically challenging. But this year's not the same. You've had 5-game series, and you just can't do it. So it's concerning, and the only thing he wants to work on in his offseason is his mid-range, which is not going to resolve all the problems that we need from him.
I'm holding back like tears, actually. I'm holding back emotion because we are riding for our squad. We are riding for Ant right now so hard. 2 shot attempts at halftime. 2. He made 1 little finger roll layup. Wow. 2 5-game series into this, you know? Last year he was on tired legs because you've had a huge series against Denver. And even that game 7 Denver was kind of hard for him until that like popped off in the fourth quarter. That's great. No excuses. I cannot put into words how much it means to me that he is growing into a role that's a leader. It's so cool at his age to be this like outstanding player to other teammates. You know, he is galvanizing his teammates with the words he says, with the way he plays, with the type of leader he is just so underrated, and I can't wait to see what it becomes. But I don't want to wait right now. I don't want to watch the defense swarm him and have him try to figure it out. What's the game plan, Ant? What are we doing when we bring the ball up or we're trying to find you in rhythm and you are taking your time? Why is Terrence Shannon Jr. getting to the line at ease? Why is he not bothered when he gets the ball in his hands? Why is he not bothered?
Terrence Shannon Jr. doesn't care if he's got pressure or whatever. He is going full force to the rim and he's not charging into people either. Like he's not getting offensive fouls. He's able to do this. I don't know. You have to, like somebody in the comments said, lock Ant in a room with Steph Curry for the offseason to train him. Lock him in a room with Terrence Shannon Jr. He needs to learn from him.
Yeah. I'm so excited for the future, by the way. Ant and Shannon, Jr. is going to be like so
I
just
know.
like mesmerizing for me.
Yeah,
I just
very
love what those two can be. He could be our number 2. Like I am so high on Terrence Shannon Jr. It's crazy. It's a little red rose, glasses here, red
You and I
rose
have both
glasses.
been.
But I am over the moon about what I'm seeing from him.
Yeah.
Ant generally is this A1 in our hearts type player.
Yep.
Finding himself in a whirlwind of a series where he is seeing body after body after body, and he cannot sift through that noise. He loses a ball, and he's trying to overcompensate at times, or he does the opposite, where he does nothing. He just sits in a corner, waiting for the possession to fall out. Because you said it. You said he's tired. He's gassed. What is he doing in the first quarter for 12 minutes if he has one shot attempt? What is he doing that's gassing him? Like, I get it. You're playing on the other end. But, like, so are they. And they're popping off for 27, 30 of their points. Like, Jalen Williams has no excuse. So should you.
Yep.
Shai Gilgeous is technically older. Has no excuse. And you don't either. Like, I'm lost in this narrative that he's tired, he's hobbled, he's injured. I don't care.
I hate it. Yeah. I don't care what it
sucks.
is. Yeah. And if he's injured so bad, then he shouldn't play. I'm just over the injury thing. Like we can't every time he has a bad game say that he might be injured.
Thank you for putting me in my place, humbling me. He's doing his best. But also LOL. Because this is not his best. His best is dominating early and often, suffocating them. So then they have to respond to him. Such then the passes are easier. He's forcing so much. He's doing different things that are uncomfortable for him. Even zone defense, he's like lost. He's so lost on zone.
Yeah.
And
well, that's okay. That's what I think it is. It's either that he's tired or he's so unsure of the game plan that he is like, he doesn't know what to do. He's just completely lost. It's one of the two of those things. And either one is concerning, but both can be fixed and worked on. So I don't know. And I get it. The other thing, if we're going to play devil's advocate to our own argument here is, he has seen such an uptick in doubles, such an uptick in just different defensive schemes against him. He's learning that, of course, but we're talking about the here and now. Next season could be different. He might work on something other than just his mid-range or whatever.
It could be harder. It could be harder for him.
It could be harder, but that's why he has to spend the offseason. And luckily, I don't think he has anything going on this offseason. There's no Olympics, which again could be another argument, I guess, if you wanted to play at devil's advocate, is that he had the Olympics, so he's really had like no break the entire year. But he needs to work on either his endurance to play these games, or he has to work on the mental learning part of the game so that he fully understands and can be confident the whole time. Because we all know that confident and Anthony Edwards, here's the other thing too, is that confident Anthony Edwards or even tired Anthony Edwards that has a mindset can kill. Think of him in Game 7 against Denver last year. I know he didn't have a great game, but he's hitting great shots. He's getting steals in big moments. He's making plays or passing it out to people to make plays for him. I just, I think it maybe, maybe I'm talking myself out of it being more of a physical thing, and maybe I'm talking myself into it being more of a game plan thing, but I do worry about the physicality part of it, the endurance part of it, the stamina part of it, and I do worry about the IQ part of it. So yeah, I mean, the thing is that like he had some good games this playoffs, but really this playoffs and this season, he's had good moments. Don't get me wrong, but like he has been thwarted at times. And it's like, I mean, he even went to the media and was complaining that he's like, I can't make it past the doubles and everybody in the gap. And he's like openly saying that he's like, I can't figure it out. So it's like, I don't know. He's got to find something in his game. And I know somebody earlier, I don't remember who, I'm so sorry. I've been so bad with comments tonight, but somebody earlier said, like, I think it was Love Padina was like, I've been saying that he needs to work on his mid-range because what does Shai do? Yeah, but I feel like Ant hits a decent amount of his mid-ranges. I feel like when he takes them, they're going in. Like, I don't have the percentages in front of me, but like, I think he makes a decent amount of them. He may not take a ton of them, but I think he has that in his game. I think what is more important is the decision-making element. So he needs to just be thrown into these weird defensive schemes all summer and just figure out how to beat a 1-3-1 zone, figure out how to beat a double team. Like he needs to do all of that. And that's what I want him to focus on, and his ball handling. Because if he could do all that, I think his confidence will be sky high. And Ant with confidence is a player that I'll take over anybody.
Yeah, I agree with what you said. I think I love, like, close my eyes and I imagine the perfect player. I open my eyes and I'm actually almost seeing it in Ant, man. I'm seeing it at such a young age. And then I'm seeing lapses on defense where he's just like in his mindset, he's recovering, he's watching, he's sagging off the corner 3 player. But Carson Wallace isn't just sagging. He's cutting and he's missing it. Carson Wallace gets the offensive rebound right in Ant's face because Ant is just thinking about something else. What is he thinking about? The fact that he might have fouled Shea on a random play that is like Shea flops and he's like really frustrated by it. What is he thinking about? The ref is not calling a foul for him. And so, like, what is he thinking about? Maybe how to get himself another shot because he's not as aggressive as he wants to be, as we want him to be. And then he's not focused on the other end. There's this so much game within the game that's happening that he has to master his own game before, like, getting to the next point in stardom and in like a selling into excellence. This is coming off very negative. And this was This was not the best game from him. But we have seen him rebound after poor performances like this. And we're going to need it. Our season's dead. Our season's on the line if we don't.
Yeah. Him and C. Hines know what they need to work on. Let's leave it at that. I like that, Butterfly. They do. And they have trust in each other. And C. Hines has done things for Ant that have improved his game tremendously. So I do also have that faith that that'll happen.
Case and Wallace. I'm sorry.
Yeah. But we are talking about the now. And tonight it was not great. So frustrating. I think it's Juancho. Do you have him above or below Randall?
Above.
Okay.
I wouldn't actually even mind. This is so crazy. I wouldn't even mind a 10 turnover game. Like, I would have, if he's just forcing more opportunities for himself to then be selfless by passing him out, I would be very encouraged because he's trying. Oftentimes he's passing out and he's out. He's done with the possession. Never do I see the ball come back to him.
Yeah,
man.
Yeah, could have used Joe Ingles tonight. Look at that tier list. Wow,
freaking sucks.
Sucks.
But this game had so many awesome moments, man. So it's like painful to hear and talk and think about this game when so much was going well for us on so many other avenues, but we didn't close.
Yep.
Quarters strong. We didn't close with our starters, with all our all-star talents. And we didn't hit them first, Yep. And when we had a lead, we could have probably kept the lead because we were trading buckets. And how different would it feel them feeling desperate rather than them feeling confident in J-Dub 3, Shout out to J-Dub, 6 for 9 from 3. That's crazy, man. That's crazy. Not his game.
And we left him open for most of those. Well,
why didn't Joe inbound that fucking point 3?
Wait, seriously. That's crazy.
Why was Randall passing it?
Yeah, and Randall with the worst
lotion, you say?
Ever. My goodness. Yeah. Wait, is the lotion back? We can bring the lotion out. Got a clip here. SGA diving to the floor on that one play.
Don't like it, but that's just the call.
I hate that.
Was a crazy play.
I hate that play.
It sucked.
Yeah, that sucked. Another one.
Like, I love him setting the tone, trying to make Shea work. No call there.
This is so disgusting.
Our best matchup is Anthony Edwards on Shea.
I hate this.
And is that walking?
Oh, I hate that. That drove me crazy. If we were going to lose because he kept doing that, I was going to throw a cup. I was going to be very mad.
Dude, you saw me. Like, I was.
You were ready.
Sure, man.
Yeah,
I don't want to say kudos to them because that is just not great to watch. But that was stopping any sort of potential momentum play from us, any sort of and then building on a small run they had. Like this, all they needed to do was a 5-0 run, and they create the separation for us that we I don't know.
Yeah.
Shout out to all of you though for sticking through this, watching that remarkable game, thinking what now, but also I can't wait for game 5.
Yes.
In OKC. What has to happen besides, wow, we hit our shots. We did everything right.
Mm-hmm. Well, and by the way, we're 13 likes away, by the way, from a giveaway. So if you haven't already, like that stream, because we're getting near the end here, and I want to make sure we do that giveaway. Otherwise, we're going to have to wait for the next game. But Crone sat with me the entire game, was my emotional support buddy.
Shout out, Crone.
Yes, it was good to see you again, Crone. I told Cameron and Ashwin, I think this still goes to 7. If we win game 5, OKC does not want to come back to Minnesota. Game 7s are up for grabs. That is for sure. I do think game 7s are up for grabs. And I do appreciate your optimism. I really, my negativity now on top of your optimism, I feel like it's so hard to beat this team 3 times in a row because they're just so deep with players that can just have a game, have the random Donte game that we had tonight and just kind of be a killer to us. We have to play perfect now, or near perfect to bring this back. Shea is a very good player, even beyond the foul baiting stuff. If Chet's going to play like he played tonight and hit as many big shots as he did, that's going to be really tough for us to overcome. And J-Dub, we have to choose 1 or 2 of them to guard more aggressively. We can't guard 3 players with Jake. So, it's just going to be tricky, but appreciate the super chat, Crone. You've done too much for us already, but we appreciate you.
More ways than you know.
Yeah, for sure. What else do we got in here? Yep. Wide open shot after wide open shot. Oh, man. We need a Mark Davis referee game.
Where are you at, by the way? Where is he?
He did one Knicks game for game 2, I think. I could be wrong. Maybe 3. But the officiating is like how it is tonight. Then I'll take my chances. We're way more confident now than we were game 2. I do think, if you're looking for any ray of sunshine here, I do think that there is some things that we've now learned throughout the series that we can take advantage of. But it was like we maybe learned some of those things in the second half of tonight, but then they just have these players that can just hit timely buckets that just ruin any momentum that you have. So it's like, even if you figure it out, if they have these perfectly made shots, it's going to be really tough to come back from that. So hiding the drink. By the way, while we're all here together and waiting for the next game, because we're just going to be live until the next game.
This is the waiting party now.
Yeah, this is game 5 waiting room. Ashman and I have been actually brainstorming some off-season content. If you have anything that you want us to do, let us know. We're thinking about having some, obviously some regular talk, like maybe a monthly check-in or something on news or something like that. But then also maybe having some games and stuff, some short-form content. We've been lacking and stuff like that. So we're going to maybe try to do some of that stuff. So if you have any ideas, send them our way here in the chat, in the comments, in the Discord, please. Because we actually might make an effort to do some real off-season content this off-season. Can't make any promises. We might also quit, but it's no in between. It's either we do a ton of content this off-season and stream every game next year, or you never see us again. No in between. No, I'm just kidding. Maybe. But yes, off-season content would be dope. We're 7 likes away from a giveaway, by the way. Model streams. Hey, I've actually thought about doing some content for that, but I would not be doing that through Wolves After Dark. Summer League, we could do some Summer League games. We can maybe do some like live Summer League watch parties or something like that. Dilly update. Summer League post game. We could maybe do that. If you quit, just keep the Discord. Yeah, we'll keep the Discord regardless of whatever we do. If you quit, then I quit, says, oh gosh. Okay. Live draft. Well, actually, this season we could do a live draft reaction because we actually have picks, or at least at the moment we do. So that I didn't want to do anything last season because it was like we straight it up. We didn't know that we were going to trade up and be that exciting, so it was different. But this year we could definitely do that. So okay, where are we on likes? 43. Looks like we're topping out at 43 likes, unless people have 7 burners right now. We still, if Game 5 is the last game, I don't want to think negatively, but I am planning logistically. We do have some things that we have to give away in Game 5. So we will be doing, if whatever our last game of the season is, we will definitely have some giveaways. We have a jersey to give away. We have gift cards to give away, some merch. I was thinking about making some more Wolves After Dark shirts like this. I kind of like this logo right here. This is kind of neat. I don't know why I like it. It's like subtle, but I like it. Except this one has AI on the back, and I'm not going to sell that or give that away. So it's just for me.
We'll make some more merch.
We'll make some more merch at some point.
You guys are graphic designers. Let's talk.
Yeah, I know. I think Manimal or somebody reached out to me, and it's just tricky. I think what I want you guys, I want somebody that's like, I hate to sound like a job application, but I need somebody who's motivated. Because I can't come up with all the ideas because I just don't. I'm not a designer. So like, I mean, my graphic design has been typing out 52 wins for the past 5 years. So that's about all I have. So, and I don't want to go to AI. I'd rather have somebody do it. We don't really have much to pay you, but like we said, we might be considering, changing our model next year to maybe have some kind of profit for somebody that could make something, but we'll see.
I mean, honestly, like, we could talk about this in off season, but like, if you make merch for us, like, all proceeds go to you. Like, anything that we profit, you just go to you.
Yes, the problem is that we don't make the money that we make on shirts right now is like $2 a shirt. But maybe we can find a new way to do seller shirts. Then yes.
Yeah, if we had like 10 times the viewership.
If we had 10 times the viewership. Also, if you're looking to sponsor the show, it's always available too. So,
we're a little itty bitty show trying to grow with you.
Yes, for sure. And I think it does take some time.
I mean, it's just so crazy. Like, little itty bitty show has you. You know what I mean? We have you, and I feel so lucky and privileged and honored.
We are very lucky to have you guys. It's crazy. You guys should have been here. I mean, I know some of you were, but all of you guys should have been here back in the Twitch days when me and Ashwin turned it on, and we had 4 viewers. 2 were me on 2 devices. 1 was Ashwin, and then the other was my dad. And we did that every game of the season. And now we have and Backyard Wrestler, who then we had to ban. But it was quite the interesting and now we have regularly like 50, 60, 70 people watching this. This is crazy. So pretty crazy. I want to help me be creative. Hey, we'll take it. Anybody that can come up with any design, honestly, I'm willing to do anything. Otherwise, we're just going to screenshot screaming and creaming and put it on a t-shirt. Okay. Cool. All right. Well, I think that's it for us today. Long show. Hopefully the next game is not our last one. Next game is Wednesday, correct? Wednesday. It's at 5:30, or excuse me, that's West Coast time. It's at 7:30. Okay, well, maybe some screaming and creaming merch. That's crazy. We can do that though. We have the screenshots. 48 likes though. Is that true? I still see 47.
On Wednesday, I'll be in another state, but I'll go live with you. I don't know for how long. I don't know the quality of my setup. I don't think I'm bringing anything. It's going to be pretty terrible. So I might not join you for the whole show, Cameron, and everyone.
That's okay.
But,
yeah. It would go hard. Okay, we're gonna do some screaming and creaming merch. Okay, fine. It's demanded by the people. You want to wear that in public? I mean, hey, we can do it. Cool. Well, I appreciate you all. Okay, wait a second. We got 50 likes right as we're leaving. Okay, fine. We'll do a giveaway. I know Ashwin,
We did it right.
Ashwin and I were ready to go, but we'll do a giveaway for those that were loyal and stayed. The word is boom, 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 boom. Remember, if you're a whatever, you get more chances. I'm putting it in the chat. You have to put this in the chat. If you win, you have to give me something quickly. Hopefully, it's just somebody that we know that's in the Discord. Discord would be great. Message me on Discord. That would be fantastic. But 50 likes, one word in the chat, or one word / whatever. This is for a $50 gift card to the Timberwolves team store. I will have to get your email, your first and last name, and then I will send it to you as long as Fanatics does not flag my account like they did last year. This is sponsored. I'm going to say this one's sponsored by Chrome. Chrome sponsored the last game. So this one is from him. All right. 10 more seconds to let anybody that's on a little delay catch up here. But remember, you have to send me your email somehow. If I don't get your information, it's all over, and I'm keeping it for myself and buying myself a Treacherous shirt, and nobody can stop me. Not even Ashwin. Okay. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It is Sam. Sam has won. Sam, I feel like I have something from you somewhere, but I don't know where. So if you could send that to me either here, give me like your Twitter, give me your Instagram, give me some kind of social media, or give me a Discord. Discord would be preferred, honestly. If you can give me your Discord name, you can DM me on Discord, but also please send me that. I'm on Discord. The beer holding the pizza. The bear holding the pizza. Bear holding the pizza. I don't know what that means, but if you're on Discord, that's perfect. Just send me, Cameron, a DM, or just post something or give me your name or something. But I think I know who. I'm maybe thinking of who you are now.
Yeah, I think we know who that is.
Oh yeah, I think I see it. Yep. Okay, the bear. It's a real bear holding the pizza. I was thinking like, okay, I see. Perfect. Awesome. Well, congrats. If you haven't already, like the stream on your way out.
It is a bear holding a pizza.
It literally is a bear holding a pizza.
That's amazing.
Perfect. I just DM'd you. So DM me your email, your name. I'll be doing that either very late tonight or tomorrow. So sorry, it might not be immediate. It might be like 24 hours late, but you will be getting that $50 gift card as soon as I get your email and first and last name. Cool. All right. Cool. Well, at least we got a giveaway. That's cool.
We're at 100 likes.
Hey, yeah, if we get to 100, we'll stay. Somebody who said it earlier, I meant to highlight this comment. Oh no, where did it go? Somebody said stay with me for the night. I can't remember who it was.
Oh.
But yeah.
Oh, you got me.
Cool. Well, awesome. It was great to hang out with you guys again. More giveaways next stream. If it's the last stream, for sure, we're going to have some giveaways. Yeah, hopefully we can steal a game in OKC. It's going to be very tricky. Same time Wednesday. And I think we'll have more of a normal. We'll be live right after the game, regardless. Since I'm not going to go out for this one, since Ashwin's not in town, I'll be right here watching the game, and I'll just click live as soon as I see a post-game interview is done. Cool. And then, like Ashwin said, he may or may not be here on the right, or not the right time, but it'll be an awkward situation. So, cool. Wolves in 5, Lakers in 5. 7 more wins is all we need. 7 more wins, and we got this. Intro as the outro. Yes, thank you, Capo. We will see you guys Wednesday night. Where's the W, Ashwin?
Oh no. You practice this.
I believe that the Minnesota Timberwolves are going to win the world championship.
Edwards.